16th Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Jeff Renahan, First Ward.
Mike Sofone, Fourth Ward.
Ann Church in Sixth Ward.
Alicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Pardon me, Jim Nelson, Attorney for the town.
Megan Clementi, Vandewater and Vandewater.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. On tonight's agenda, the first item will be a public hearing for Arlington Sewer Improvement Area, adoption of the public interest resolution and authorization to apply to the comptroller. 2 will be a public hearing, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 195-44, stop intersection, Stratford Drive and Thames Road. Public hearing number 3 is the budget 2023. Item number 4 is the retirement of Frank Ozani from the wastewater collection supervisor. 5, the retirement of Mark Pfeiffer, highway superintendent. 6, the retirement of Charles Emberger, town comptroller. 7, the appointment of Michael Simon as highway superintendent. 8, appointment of Jessica Servideo as town comptroller. 9, appointment of Pasquale Colantuano as deputy town comptroller. 10, settlement documents for Dutchess County Supreme Court Index number 2021-53393. 11, reappoint Brooke Page as temporary full-time police assistant for additional 90 days. 12, approve 12th Corner Volunteer Fire Department Halloween Parade. 13, accept the town clerk minutes for 2022. 14, authorize the auction for disposal of surplus town vehicles and equipment. 15, presentation by Yvonne Laub, Historical Committee in relation to Hudson Heritage. 16, authorize special consents. Special consent 1, resignation of Catherine Larkin, police assistant. SC2, authorize the supervisor to execute employee benefits consultant service agreement with Benetech. SC3, notification of claim, refer to legal, Patterson versus the town and Hunt versus the town. With that, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda, except for the public hearings. You'll have a chance to speak as we open those public hearings. Is there anybody to speak about any other item on the agenda? Doreen, go ahead.
Thank you, Jay. So I have a question about number 10, the settlement documents.
Yep.
So it says it's an Article 78 lawsuit against the town and against the supervisor, but there isn't any information. It doesn't say, who it was. It doesn't say how much the settlement is. So is there anything you can elaborate on for that?
Not at this time, Doreen. No. I
Okay.
can fill you in a few days on it, but at this time, no, because it may be sealed.
Okay, it may be sealed?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it's just, okay. It just leaves questions. Okay, and number 7, the appointment of Michael Simon to highway superintendent. So I was surprised to see in last week's paper that the highway superintendent regarding the leaf cleanup was already listed as Michael Simon. So
That's a mistake, Doreen.
yeah, I would have thought because there was no vote that should have, that should not have said that, but anyway, okay, and then I get, it's basically the same for 4, 5, and 6. For the retirements, it says that they are to receive all accrued benefits and compensation to which they are entitled. So are there amounts to go along with that?
No, because they could still, Doreen, take time off between now and then, which would affect their payouts. So until they're finished and completed, we wouldn't have those total numbers.
Okay, so that info will be available after the actual retirements.
Correct.
All right, thank you, Jay.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to discuss any actual item on the agenda? If not, a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to
This girl in
open,
the audience raised her hand.
oh, did they? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Come on up.
Thank you, Ann.
Thanks, Ann.
Sure.
I didn't see.
Thank you. We just wanted to reference.
If you want to sit down and speak into the
Do you want to
mic.
reference number 2? Did you want to reference number 2?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll come right after this first public hearing. That'll be the next one, and then you'll get your chance. You're almost there. Okay, make a motion to open public hearing number 1, Arlington Sewer Improvement Area.
I don't know if we've got a second for the resume.
Second.
Okay, thank
Now we
you.
do.
Sorry.
Note for the record that Councilman Krakauer showed up. And Ann Berger.
And Ann Berger showed up.
Yes, thank you. Ann. You were quick. Now to make a motion to open public hearing number 1.
Can I say something
Oh, geez.
before the councilman reads the supplemental public interest resolution?
Yeah, we didn't open the public hearing yet. We make a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Doreen?
Thank you. Yeah, I'd just like to say about the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area that this is long overdue. While the New York State DEC cited violations in 2013 and 2014, I can say that I've lived off of Spackenkill Road for 40 years, and the smell from that area has always been a problem. And it's just not good for the environment. There's wetlands there, so I know that the town had asked for a time extension to from the consent order, and it just it really is something that needs to be done. So I'm glad to see that looks like this is finally going forward. Thank you.
Doreen, I agree what you had to say, and one of the things that we lucked out on lately, there's been a big push for water and sewer improvement grants, and so far we've gotten over $4 million in grants for this project, which is a bonus. Is there anybody else that would like to discuss the Arlington Sewer Improvement Area? That said, make a motion to close this public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
If I could, this is a 6-page resolution, and it does relate to the sewer work that's proposed to be done for Spackenkill, for which the town has received notice of its qualification for one very large grant and another one. And what happened was that the board adopted a public interest resolution on this after a public hearing previously. And there was an 85-page list, listed every parcel that was going to be served by it. And as it turned out, there were some people whose names were not on that list, and there were some people whose names needed to be added to the list. So in order to be careful, because this has to go up to the state comptroller, we have proposed doing a supplemental public interest resolution, basically finding that it's in the public interest to go ahead with this, and directing that an application be made to the comptroller. So if the board would like, if somebody wanted to move that the town board waive the reading of the full resolution and consider that it's been incorporated into the record as if it had been read in full, and then move its adoption, that might expedite the process. Of course, you're free to read the whole thing, but this is a supplemental as to a project we already did, a public interest resolution. So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
And on the public hearing, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna do a roll call.
Pardon me. The motion was the first motion was to close the public hearing, right?
Correct.
And
We
that
did
carries.
That carries.
On motion of Mr. Krakauer?
No, we had one before that.
Okay, good.
They closed it before you spoke.
Okay, okay, fine, I was right. Go ahead, please.
Jeff Renahan,
Aye.
Ann Berger,
Aye.
Mike Safone.
Aye.
Stefan Krakauer.
Aye.
Ann Shershin.
Aye.
And Jay Baisley.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 6-1.
And that was to approve the incorporation and the adoption of the resolution. right?
Correct, sir.
Yes.
That brings us to public hearing number 2, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 19544, stop at intersection Stratford Drive and Thames Road. Make a motion, hold on,
No,
take that
wait.
back.
There we go. 1B.
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 We can do the same thing, 1B, Jim?
Let me read that. That's only one page.
Well, now, 1B already has the incorporation language in it. So Mr. Renahan would need to only read the first page.
Go ahead, Mr. Ryan.
Okay. At a regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, Dutchess County, New York, held at the Town Hall at 1 Over Rocker Road in Poughkeepsie, New York, in said town on the 19th day of October 2022 at 7:00 PM for Valentine. The meeting was called to order by Supervisor Baisley, and upon roll being called, there was present Councilman Renahan, Councilwoman Berger, Councilman Safone, Councilman Krakauer, Councilwoman Shurshin, Supervisor Baisley. Absent was Councilman Carlos. And the following resolution, which is attached as Exhibit A hereto and incorporated herein, as to which the town board does hereby waive a verbatim reading and directs that it be spread across the record as if it, in fact, had been read aloud verbatim, was offered by Councilman Renahan and moved its adoption, seconded by, second by Councilwoman Berger, and having duly been put to a vote, which resulted as follows. You want me to do it or you do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Councilman Renahan,
Aye.
Councilwoman Berger,
Aye.
Councilman Safone,
Aye.
Councilman Krakauer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Shurshin.
Aye.
And Supervisor Baisley.
Aye.
That passes 6-0.
Now that brings us to public hearing number 2. Make a motion to open public hearing number 2, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 195-44, stop intersections, Stratford Drive and Thames Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You over it? Come right up. Now it's your turn.
Good evening. We're here representing Stratford Farms, a bunch of us. We are for the 2 stop signs that you guys just voted on, and we would also like to bring up that there is another stop sign at Upper Stratford and Kensington that was not on your agenda that is existing, just to bring to your attention. And then we also wanted to have you guys look into making Bard, Stratford, and Thames a 4-way stop, as we have an issue with unreasonable speed in the neighborhood. And we feel that that would help alleviate some of the situation and allow the police to do enforcement in the neighborhood. Anything else?
Don't you have a handout for them possibly?
I'm gonna give that to Ann.
Okay. That's
Yes.
it.
Well, thank you, and Ann's been working on it with you on that, so we'll just follow up and go through that. Thanks, Ann.
Yes,
Just wanted to put it out
Do you
there.
have a handout
thank
for
you.
everybody, or just one that you need me to copy?
I mean, I do have a handout if everybody wants it, otherwise I could just give it to Ann, whatever
No,
you guys
you know
want.
what, give one to everyone.
Sure.
Yeah, usually they give it to me and then I include it in the record as well.
Yep, you can put this in the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Is there anybody else that would like to discuss this public hearing?
Do you need both copies or just one?
Just one is good.
If not, make a motion to close this public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Be it enacted that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a duly noticed public hearing held on October 19th, 2022 at 7 PM at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, does hereby amend Town Code Chapter 195 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, specifically Code 195-44, Schedule 4, Stop Intersections, with the language to be added, underlined, and the language to be deleted, stricken, as follows. Add to Code 195-44, stop intersection. Stratford, stop sign on Stratford Drive, direction of travel northeast at intersection of Bower Road. A stop sign on Thames Road, direction of travel southeast at intersection Stratford Drive. And be it further enacted that the legal notice of public hearing was posted on October 6, 2022, and published in the Poughkeepsie Journal on October 11, 2022. And be it further enacted that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does determine that this action is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. And be it further enacted that this local law shall become effective immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. And we'll look into the other ones for you also. Item 3 on the agenda, make a motion to open the public hearing for the 2023 budget.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who would like to speak on the 2023 budget? Doreen?
Thank you, Jay. So I hadn't been able to attend the last several meetings, so I didn't know if it was stated what the town tax rate was going to be for 2023's budget?
No, during the actual rate was not, put out there. I can get it for you. I don't have it in front of me, but we did stay underneath the tax cap again this year.
Okay. The only other thing I want to point out is that, you know, it's possible that the rate could be down, but people's taxes are still going to increase. And I say that because, we got our Wappinger school tax. And even though the rate went down, because the town of Poughkeepsie raised our assessment by 37%, we're paying almost $850 more in Wappinger school taxes. And again, that's because of the increased assessment, which was a large increase for us, and also I believe for some others in the neighborhood. So again, even if the tax rate turns out to be lower, could be possible that we will see an increase in our taxes because of the increase in assessment. So just wanted
We
to.
put together a pie chart, and I can send it to you if you send me an email of
Yeah,
what.
I looked online on the comptroller's, and I didn't see it, but if you can point me to it, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll get it to you, because we do have it, and one of the issues that does happen with like Wappingers, the Galleria Mall was one of them that their assessed value went down quite a bit, because we know malls aren't doing good. And Lexington Club at the Galleria, right across the street from the mall, also, that's Wappinger School District, went tax exempt this year. That was another thing, it was $7.5 million off the tax rolls. So on top of that, some of the commercial numbers went down last year. They have gone back up a little bit this year, so hopefully next year we'll see a smaller change. And it's very hard to tell. Wappingers does their own taxing. The only one that we do here in-house is Spackenkill, because it's totally incorporated in the town. So Wappingers, Arlington, Hyde Park do their own, so it's hard to know their actual formula to how they calculate all the different towns and how they're set with different towns and different rates.
Well, I know that our assessment was 100% for this year and for the previous year. So, you know, it was a large increase in our assessment, and again, that was with no, you know, no improvements. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Finance Committee, what's your option? To close the public hearing, leave the public hearing open?
We'd rather leave it open for another week. We're still working on a few things.
All right. Would you leave it open next meeting?
Next meeting will be done.
November 2nd is the next meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this public hearing to November 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 4.
Be it resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the retirement of Frank Ozani, wastewater collection system supervisor of the Town of Poughkeepsie Sewer Department, effective October 28, 2022, with Mr. Ozani to receive all accrued benefits and compensation to which he is entitled. So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second? Any questions?
I'd just like to say it's been an absolute pleasure to work with Franco over the years. I think he's done a great service to the town. He's been a fantastic employee, led that department, and will be sorely missed. So I do wish him well, though, in retirement, and I'm envious, so.
Franco, I can't say enough. I've enjoyed every minute I've worked with you, and I've been out water up to my knees, and you've taught me more about sewer collection than I ever wanted to know.
Congratulations.
Yes. Franco, congratulations on your retirement. It'll be very quiet around Town Hall.
Yes.
It was Franco, truthfully, it was a pleasure, and with your department run the way it was, the town standard of when something goes wrong to get it fixed is not days, weeks, and years. It's usually corrected with the department heads we have in hours. So hopefully that standard can be kept up, and it's something that we work very hard on keeping, and you've done a great job in your response. We haven't quite figured out how to call forward your phone yet, but so if you get them calls, please let us know, Franco, but best of luck. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the retirement of Town of Poughkeepsie Highway Superintendent Mark Pfeiffer, effective 11:59 p.m. on October 28, 2022, with Mr. Pfeiffer to receive all accrued benefits and compensation to which he is entitled to. So moved.
Second.
Second.
We get a motion and a second?
I would just like to say that Mark has gone above and beyond what you would expect from a town employee, town department head, town resident. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've spent 20 some odd years in this town. I've never seen somebody work harder. You call him, it doesn't matter who you are, town board member, town resident, developer, contractor, whoever, he answers the first call all the time, which is impressive because sometimes I'm sure with caller ID, there's times where you don't want to answer that phone, but he answers that phone all the time. And I have the pleasure of calling him a friend after all these years and appreciate all that he's done for our town, for myself as a town board member and myself as a town resident. It will be very difficult to replace Mark. We do have good people over there, so we will be okay, but he will be absolutely missed.
You can vote no, I think, right?
Yeah,
I'm tempted to vote no on this one.
Stefan, on the note of what you said, he has good people over there. That just shows where they start. The staff that he has over there has been trained by Mark. Mark's been here 30 years, so he's worked his way from the bottom up to the top. And as you said, he's a glue that holds us together. I mean, talk about a department head. We talk to other towns. The highway superintendent doesn't even talk to the town board. They run their own thing. You can call Mark no matter who it is, and even if it's not the town. We've reached out over the years, helped other towns, assisted other towns when they need them, because we have a town that is top shelf highway department. These guys do a phenomenal job. Mark, all the years you've been here, as Stefan said, whether I call you 2 o'clock in the morning or I'm meeting you out in a puddle, it's middle of the night, it happens, and you are there, and sometimes you're the one in the hole. We had a major water main breakout here a few years ago, and it was a 30-inch break. Nobody could fix it. We had to call somebody in from Connecticut. You looked out there. Who was there? Highway, water, and sewer as a full team trying to close that line down. So it just shows, we have a town that works together, and it's really, truly one of the best towns that I could see around. We are top shelf, and you guys work as a great team. Good luck in your retirement. And we know where you live. You're only down the street, so you're not getting away that quick.
Mark, I ditto everything Stefan said. You are a true friend, and I appreciate all the work you've done for the residents of the town and for the veterans when you helped me coordinate the drives over at town highway. So I appreciate everything you've done. So thank you.
Please go and enjoy your retirement.
That's right.
Yeah, and like I said, most people know I wear 2 hats. The other one is, like I said, is the chief of New Hamburg. And anytime we had emergencies or calls, in New Hamburg, anytime we needed roads opened up right away, I was able to call you up. Your group does a great job, and like Jay said, it starts from the top, from you, and I know, like I said, Mike right behind will follow in your footsteps, but thank you very much and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to you guys. I've been fortunate for my 17 years as highway superintendent to always have a great town board to work with. We've never fought, we've never anything. Everything is always run as smooth as could be, and I can reach out to any of you guys all the time as well, and you're always there. So thank you for making my career here very enjoyable. It's hard to believe that 31 years is going by this fast. So I dream of this day for all the time, and then coming here tonight, I'm like, wow. But thank you for all you guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with all of you, and I appreciate it. And I'm not going anywhere, like you said. So if there's ever a question, phone number's still the same one. So thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Good luck. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
6-0.
6-0. I forgot we're missing one. Thanks, Felicia.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the retirement of Charles Emberger, Town of Poughkeepsie Comptroller, effective 11:59 p.m. on October 28th, 2022, with Mr. Emberger to receive all accrued benefits and compensation to which he is entitled. So moved.
Second.
Need a motion and a second?
Charlie, you've had 2 stints here, and so have I, and it has been enjoyable. We've done a lot of difficult work together over the years. Putting together a budget for a town this size is not easy, and then managing it throughout the year is even more difficult. You've done a great job. You've developed a good office around you, and again, we're going to miss you, but we'll be okay because we have quality people that work in the town and in your department. So enjoy that retirement, and like I said, I'm jealous of all you guys. Getting the downshift a little bit, but the town is better off for you having worked here, so thank you.
I agree with Stefan. Charlie, you've been great to work with, and it truly has been a pleasure, and I wish you nothing but the best in retirement.
Charlie, as I said, Stefan mentioned, we've been here 2 terms together, basically. You came, you left, and you came back. You came back right as I became supervisor. And what your office and staff at your direction have done to bring the books and stabilize the town, and the battles we've had over whether spending or not spending, what we can spend and what we can't, and you keeping us in check, I think it's been good. We've taken the town many steps above where it was before as far as getting everything in order. So with that, Charlie, good luck in your retirement. You're not going too far either, because we know where you live. So we'll be down there, and I definitely think that the staff below you will be able to handle this job, because they've been very well trained by you and skill trained, and just the knowledge that they've picked out over the years by going to classes and staying on top of things that we've changed and brought things up to today's standards that were a little behind the 8 ball for a few years. I want to thank you for all you've done. And
Yes, Charlie, yep, thank you for everything you've done for the town, and enjoy your retirement.
good luck, Charles.
We have to approve this.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Charlie.
6-0.
6-0. Thanks for leadership. Can we get somebody over there?
You're up.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby appoint Michael Simon as Town of Poughkeepsie Highway Superintendent effective 12 a.m. on October 29, 22, which appointment is due December 31st, 2023. Such appointment to be with the full authority of the office, and be it further resolved, the said appointee will receive the annual salary of $113,281 and all benefits. Be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second?
Sure.
Any questions?
I just want to, one of the things you try to do when you come into a job or a town is to leave it better off than how you found it. I think Mark Pfeiffer and before him Jack Still have done that. Mike Simon has been here for a long time doing this job, working with
11
Mark
years.
side by side, and knows our town and has learned well. And so Mark did a great job, and he's handing off to Mike, and I do believe that we're going to be okay because of the good people that we've had all along and how well everybody's worked together. So it is, I'm excited for Mike to be taken over. I think you're going to do a great job. I'm proud of the fact that we have people coming up from within our town to rise to the top positions. So it is a pleasure to be able to vote yes on this, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to take this opportunity to thank the town board for giving me this opportunity to become the next highway superintendent. I can't thank Mark enough for preparing me for this very moment. We've worked, I've been with the highway department for over 20 years now. I've been Mark's deputy for the past 8. I started out cutting grass during the summer months home from college. And after I graduated from Pace in 2001, I came on full time. Worked my way up through the department, and Mark made me his deputy 8 years ago. I've had the pleasure of working for him and creating policies with him. And I want to ensure to everybody here and everybody at home, those policies, practices, traditions are going to carry on. Nothing's going to change, and we're going to continue to adapt and grow and educate ourselves on how we can become more efficient. So again, in summary, I just want to say thank you. As a lifelong resident here in the town, I'm 44 now. I'm raising 2 daughters here. It's a pleasure to live here, to work here, and it's just going to motivate me to improve and to become more efficient. So, again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
Mike,
it.
I want to thank you, Mike, because, the years of working with you over there, you are the closest thing to a clone to Mark. If you want an answer and you can't get it from Mark, you get it from you. It's there, and it just shows you where it starts at the top, because to get the attitude and the answer, it's not like, go see Mark. You can make your decisions going forward. You knew what you were able to do. You were quite capable of doing the job and whatever it was. You didn't have to say, let me go back and find Mark. You're a man that can make decisions. So I really was very happy when this was the choice, when we were talking, going through, when we talked to you about it, that this is where you are, your 20 years experience of living here and doing this, and what you've done for the town so far, and your knowledge that you've picked up that we've seen you doing. I think it's great. So best of luck, Mike.
Great. Thank you very much.
No doubt you're going to do fine, Mike.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Jessica Servideo as Town of Poughkeepsie Comptroller effective midnight, October 29, 2022, which appointment is through December 31st, 2023. And be it further resolved that said appointee shall receive the annual salary of $116,390 and all benefits. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Anybody any questions? What I'd like to say is, Jessica, it's gonna be a pleasure. I mean, we worked with you close for the last 6.5 years. You've definitely grown with the department, and you've definitely grown and become a heck of a professional as far as the way the department runs, and working with Charlie and the rest of your staff over there. I can definitely see where you're going in the right direction. You have a lot of good thoughts of how we can go and still progress the department going forward. So best of luck. I look forward to working with you.
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Her
Yeah,
daughter's adorable too.
I just want to add that I've only worked with you for a short period of time since being back on the board, but it has been a pleasure. I am confident in your ability to do this job and lead our town in the comptroller's department. It's not an easy job because it deals with money and everything comes back to the finances. And my experience thus far has been that I've been very impressed. And again, I do think we have such good people in our town. It's nice to see somebody move up through the process here. And I think the town is in very capable hands going forward. So congratulations.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby provisionally appoint Pasquale Colantuano as Deputy Comptroller at the salary of $85,000 effective November 14th, 2022, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law. And be it further resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Pascal is not unknown to the town. He used to be a resident of the 4th Ward. He knows his way around the area, so I think he's gonna do a fine job with us here.
He comes with quite a few years of experience from the Village of Rybrook, municipal accounting, so I think this will be a good fit going forward. He is a local resident, he lives closer to home, so this actually should work out very well. He's got a lot of experience behind him, and working with our new comptroller, I can definitely see some changes and taking some policies and changing them and going in the same direction we're going. It's constantly upgrading things and making the town a better place. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Welcome aboard, Pasquale.
Congratulations.
You guys gonna stay for the whole meeting?
Yeah.
All right, you guys are all gonna stay? I'll read.
You're free to go now.
Whereas a special proceeding has been commenced in Dutchess County Supreme Court bearing index number 2021-53393, the Article 78 proceeding against the Town of Poughkeepsie, the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board, and John J. Baisley as Town of Poughkeepsie Supervisor, collectively the town. Whereas the petitioner in the Article 78 proceeding and the town desire to settle the Article 78 proceeding and any additional claims, both asserted and unasserted, that the petitioner in the Article 78 proceeding and the town have or may have against each other. Whereas the attorneys for the petitioner in the Article 78 proceeding, Corbally, Gartland, and Rappley LLP by Alexandria Downey Esquire, and the attorneys for the town, Capolino, Rothschild, and Egan LLP by Shane J. Egan Esquire, have agreed to a proposed settlement subject to the approval of the town board. Whereas the attorneys for the petition in the Article 78 proceeding and the attorneys for the town have prepared the documents necessary to effectuate the terms of the proposed settlement, which include a general release to be executed by the petitioner, release to the town from all claims against the town asserted in the Article 78 proceeding, and all other claims the petitioner has or may have against the town, and B, a general release to be executed by the town, releasing the petitioner from all claims against the petitioner asserted in the Article 78 proceeding, and all other claims that the town has or may have against the petitioner. C, a stipulation of discontinuance to discontinue the Article 78 proceeding with prejudice, and D, a so ordered confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement, collectively the settlement document. And whereas the town board now wishes to approve this settlement and the Article 70 proceeding on the terms and conditions set forth in the settlement documents, authorize, direct, and empower John J. Baisley and Shane J. Egan Esquire to execute the settlement documents and take any further actions necessary to effectuate the parties' settlement as provided for in the settlement documents. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes, directs, and empowers town supervisor John J. Baisley and Shane J. Egan Esquire to execute the necessary settlement documents and take any actions necessary to effectuate the settlement of the Article 78 proceeding and resolve any additional claims the petitioner in Article 78 proceeding has or may have against the town as provided for in the settlement documents. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Absolutely no.
No.
Is that 2? So 1, 2, 4 to 2. Motion passes.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reappoint Brooke Page as a temporary full-time police assistant at the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department on a temporary basis not to exceed 90 days, starting October 24th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application submitted by Gerald Phillip and does hereby grant approval to the Croft Corners Volunteer Fire Department to hold its annual Halloween parade on Saturday, October 29th, 2022 at 12:30 p.m., which parade will start at Todd Middle School parking lot and proceed south on Croft Road, west onto Schoolhouse Lane, and end at Croft Corner Fire Station, 7 Spackenkill Road. Be further resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the application for said parade pending receipt of certification of liability insurance, naming the town of Poughkeepsie as an additional insurance. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes for the following 2022 town board meetings to wit: July 6, 2022, regular town board meeting; July 20th, 2022, regular town board meeting; August 3rd, 2022, regular town board meeting; August 17th, 2022, committee of the whole, regular town board meeting; September 7th, 2022, regular town board meeting; September 21st, 2022, regular town board meeting. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby declare the town to have vehicles and equipment to be surplus and does hereby authorize the sale of those surplus vehicles and items and such other items as may be specifically designated as surplus, as shown in an annex memo from Auto Center Manager Brian Porter, and authorized to be sold by the supervisor or his designee at an online web auction conducted by Absolute Auction Center, 45 South Avenue, Pleasant Valley, New York, at their standard rates, provided that a complete record of the equipment and the results of the auction be maintained. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Brings us to item number 15. For Yvonne Log. Come on up, Yvonne. If people don't know, Yvonne has been sort of tasked with keeping an eye on Hudson Heritage for the historic monument. She's gonna fill us in on what's going on up there.
Are you able to, will it turn on automatically?
You got help coming in.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yay.
maybe not.
Maybe not. I guess not.
Do you have a cord to plug it in there, Yvonne? Tim?
Yes.
Oh, hey. Sorry, Tim.
Yikes. We chased everybody away.
Oh, okay.
So we have to get on the line.
Bye.
Thank
You're
you.
good. That's
Bye.
good.
Be
You
good.
got it. You're good.
Have a good night.
See you.
Bye.
No problem.
Tim, is that gonna take you a couple minutes?
It's gonna take a couple minutes.
We're gonna go on and do this
Go right ahead.
SCs, and then we'll
Please
come
do.
back to,
What about 16?
that's it, that's what we're going, I'll read it. Be it resolved,
okay.
the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby grants special consent to the following items to wit. 1, accept the resignation of Catherine Larkin as a police assistant. SC2, authorize Supervisor Bays to execute an employee benefits consulting service agreement with Benetech Inc. 3, notification of claim refer to legal Patterson versus the town, Hunt versus the town. And be it further resolved that upon objection of any member of the town board, you may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
Second. I
Motion
mean,
second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved, the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie to accept with regret the resignation of Catherine Larkin, police assistant with the Town of Poughkeepsie Police Department effective October 23rd, 2022. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to sign an employee benefits consulting service agreement with Benetech Inc. in substantially the form of the town's other professional service contracts and the terms annexed. And be it further resolved, the town board further finds that it would not be in the best interest of the town to solicit alternative proposals or quotations for such service. And be it further resolved that the town board finds that this is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions?
Do we have an approximate amount that this is gonna be?
About 3.
Or is there?
It was approximate. This. You had it here.
190 for an hour. Total field, if 2 people work, it'll be 103.
No, it was 190 an hour. They're coming to one presentation. What they're doing is they're analyzing all our insurance
Yeah.
policies and discussing. Yeah, it should not be.
Okay.
It should be, it should be here one day, once they get all the paperwork together to come down and go over with the.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
SC3, a notice of claims referred to legal, Patterson versus town, and 2, Hunt versus town.
It looks like we're almost ready for John's presentation.
Let me know. I don't wanna.
We're ready when you are.
Okay, thank you. My name is Yvonne Lobby. As you know, I'm a resident of the town. I also have the pleasure of serving on the town's Historic Preservation Commission, as well as having experience working with Jeff and Bill and Ann on the town comp plan. So thank you for the opportunity to let me speak tonight. Mostly, I wanted to bring to your attention the Hudson Heritage Project and some things that are happening up there that I think you should know about. So the area of concern I'm pointing out today is the south wing, which is just north of the ShopRite Plaza. Specifically this section right here, as you see it outlined in orange. And what you're looking at are, in the larger picture, are the dormers that are located on the roof of that south wing. So this was taken in spring of 2022. Here's another view of it. You can just kind of see the dormers. Again, in July. And then in August, you really can't see them. They're not identifiable. That's because they removed them. They removed 9 of them. And here's another view. And another view. And highlight, because they did kind of carry around the corner. And so between July 17th and August 5th, approximately 9 dormers were removed without a permit. The only way that this could have been done is with large equipment or heavy equipment. So it's not like they were just picking up some debris. They had to do this probably inconveniently kind of hidden out of view because there's a giant mound of dirt blocking the view. I know, I sent you all the the codes and stuff, so I'm not gonna go into that. But I did have a
Just go back to
conversation.
that.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Just because.
To, do you want me to go to this one or this one?
No,
Sorry.
yeah, possible fund not to exceed $1,000. So is that the downside risk of the $1,000 fine?
Up to 5,000.
We can put them in jail for 6 months? All right.
I'm not pursuing enforcement. I'm not doing that. But what I'm wanting to do is show the extent that they're getting away with things. And this is not the first case. That's why I want the board to know. Regarding the dormers, because that is the most recent instance, I have been in touch with Mike Welty. He's wonderful to work with. He's been very open with me about the project. As you know, it's in my best interest, in the town's best interest, to try to preserve as much history as possible. Mike's very helpful with that. I've also been in touch with Bruce Flowers, and Bruce did issue a stop work order after I alerted them that the dormers were removed. However, unfortunately, I know that Bruce has left, and it is unknown to me if any enforcement or follow-up has been done regarding the dormers. So again, this is just the enforcement aspect. So a couple of things that I think are important. Yes, the south wing is going to be demolished. I am very well aware of that. But the fact is they're doing the work without a permit. They're not caring for the items that the commission has pointed out to save and either potentially reuse or allow us to salvage and sell to use towards the memorial proposal we have given. And I do know that people have been interested in, I've had people ask me for bricks. They want to buy bricks. So, and there's a bazillion bricks up there. It's not safe. As you can see, the state of the building is already in jeopardy, and the work is being done without abatement. So I had a conversation with Marty Berger of Sabre a couple of months ago, and he did mention to me, and this is a little bit of speculation on my part, that he had gotten 3 different proposals from demolition contractors to give an estimate for the removal of the south wing. And he said that the challenge was that there's asbestos in the plaster, and that because there's no floors in the building, it's basically a shell, it was going to be extremely difficult to remove the asbestos without some sort of like acrobatics. And I do have a theory that these dormers were removed to propel the natural demolition of this building or this wing to save them money.
Destabilize it.
Accelerate.
Destabilize it. Accelerate.
Collapse
Thank you.
it
I'm
on
terrible
its
with
own.
words.
That's good.
Yeah.
We
So
got
that is my gut instinct with that, and that's pretty crappy as far as I'm concerned as a citizen of the town and the environment we're living in. But so going further, I wanted to bring you back because this isn't the only instance where the developer has done work without a permit. In 2020, the developer took out an entire 4-story corner of the back of the south wing to supposedly harvest brick. And to what purpose, I do not know. But again, without a permit, and another stop work order was issued then. In June of 2020, and this is not news to some of you, a company called Demolition Depot was commissioned to remove significant architectural items from across the site, and definitely utilized heavy machinery to do so. They didn't have permission. Demolition Depot did put the items on the website for sale. I do know that some of the items they're gone, they're missing, and the developer said nothing's been taken off site, but I disagree. And then another instance where they did work without a permit was the Merry-Go-Round Pavilion, which is a historic pavilion located on the north, kind of by where the golf course clubhouse is, up in the north end. And in 2019, I photo documented the site, and I took the picture in the middle, and by July, it was gone. Marty says he has no idea of why or how it happened. What's important to me about this is also very close, or perhaps exactly where James Roosevelt's home was before he sold the site, and James Roosevelt is FDR's dad. And the FDR legacy, or the Roosevelt legacy, carries on because both FDR's mom, FDR, and Eleanor all visited the site, participated at nursing graduations, and even providing, Sarah Roosevelt provided food from her garden to the patients. So I thought that that would be an opportunity to honor the history of the Roosevelts in that pavilion. And then finally, the director's residence, which is more recent. In January, I went on a site visit to meet with one of the contractors and noticed that they started working on the director's home. And they had actually pretty much removed several of the trusses in the roof. And again, I let Bruce Flowers know. He issued a stop work order and suggested they put a tarp on the roof. They did eventually submit a detail. I'm not entirely sure how elaborate that detail was, but it did get a permit, and then they put the shingles on the roof. Again, I don't know if the shingling is a temporary measure or if it's going to be a permanent fix. So as we're getting closer to the redevelopment of the North Campus, where 5 out of the 6 of the historic buildings that are slated in the development master plan to be reused, it's the history. That's the historic part of the property. And it's really important to me, and I think it should be important to the town, to keep a better eye on this project, and don't let them get away with this stuff, you know? And what I want to say is that I do not see this as an issue or a fault of the planning department or the building inspector. I really believe that, one, the developer is getting away with stuff, and 2, that I do have a concern on behalf of the town that this project is bigger than any one building inspector can handle, especially in light of the fact that we have Eastdale Village, we have now the Arthur S. May property, not to mention all the other little projects or houses that need to be inspected. So I had asked around, and it is not unheard of that to get a consultant inspector for a project. I don't know what that entails, but it's something that maybe we would consider, especially going forward, because this is not new construction now. They're going to start working on historic fabric. And I do know, I'll wrap it up, that you will be voting soon on the sewer, loan, like lack of a better word, loan, for this project. And this might be a good, I don't know if you can turn it into some sort of leverage to perhaps get more preserved or reused, or encourage them to take the pieces that we've already pointed out and give them to the commission to sell, to put up a memorial.
I find all this kind of troubling, but not surprising.
Yeah.
And it is a big project. It should be, Hudson Heritage is the name of it, and the whole process is supposed to be using those old buildings as part of the redevelopment, and allowing them to fall apart or encouraging them to fall apart is not acceptable. One of the concerns that I've had is that the commercial is all getting done, and that's where they've always been able to make the most money, and not having that redevelopment and securing those buildings on the front end will allow a developer to go in, make their money, and just potentially disappear. So that's always sort of bothered me, because I've always felt there should have been a direct tie-in to what they're doing, and that profit margin that they're getting on the front end, I'm not convinced that they won't disappear with it. My father worked there for years. I don't want to say I grew up there, but during my youth, I've been up there a lot. The buildings are beautiful. The grounds are beautiful. I didn't even realize that carousel was there.
Yeah.
But looking at it, it's a shame that it wasn't preserved.
Yeah.
And for the developer to say, I have no idea what happened. If they own the property, they should be able to figure out what happened.
Right.
I'm sure he wasn't there when it was done,
Right.
and maybe he didn't directly say do it, but there's no way that you can say, I have no idea what happened, shrug your shoulders and walk away. It's not really appropriate. I would be supportive of bringing in somebody to do the monitoring of that. I don't know if we're just doing with planning and zoning and building right now. I'd definitely be supportive of it. I think something like that would probably be charged out to the developer anyway through an escrow account. So it's not like it's going to come out of the town taxpayers' pockets. And I think it would be completely appropriate because it's supposed to be something special. And if we don't watch it, we'll just get strip retail and not a lot else. Or we could create something extremely special in our town. And whoever it is that if we go that route to designate, should be somebody that has an expertise in that field, just not a local person who does a million different things for us that comes in and does that also. I think it should be somebody that knows what they're doing, knows what they're looking at. And when they say, well, we took the dormers off for this reason, it'll be something that they can say, nope, that's not appropriate. And there should be, stop work orders are one thing, the fine structures, if the only thing we can do is hit them with a $1,000 fine, we should take a look at that also, because there should be something that would be in proper relation to the amount of work that they're doing and the reality that for $1,000 they'll take down the dormers and let the building collapse. There's a plaza, is it Chestnut Plaza, where Walgreens is? There's an American chestnut tree there that was a rare tree. And in the planning board process, they were told to save the tree. There was a construction accident that took the tree out because the tree was in just an inopportune place on the property. Those things are ridiculous, but there's no downside risk. If you're a developer, you take the tree down, and it was that guy over there did it, and geez, I'm sorry about that, but that happened. They destabilize the building so that it'll collapse, and they go, geez, I can't believe that happened, sorry about that. So when they ask for forgiveness rather than permission,
And again, that is speculation on my part,
No,
the
I know,
reasoning. But
but
there
the-
is no reason to remove the dormers, especially without a permit.
Right, but it's asking for forgiveness rather than permission, and there
Right.
should be a point where we don't allow that.
Right.
Because they've already made a good amount of money with the retail that they're putting in there. And that was always the driving factor from every developer that came in and looked at it. They wanted to do the retail piece.
Yeah.
We
And
didn't-
as a citizen of the town or a resident of the town, I am somewhat underwhelmed by the tenants that have come into the retail section. I was hoping for bigger, better, and unique, other than I got nothing wrong with Smoothie King. Their angel food smoothie is awesome, but we got one now, a new one, just down the road, so.
But you would hope with a property like this, that has the ability to be very unique, that something unique would happen here, not just what
Absolutely.
happens everywhere else. You go to other communities and you see an old building restored and rehabbed and put back into use, and you say, wow, that's amazing. This property stands out in my mind as the piece in the town where you could say, I can't believe how nice this is and how great this turned out. Or you could have a bunch of strip retail. For years, I argued with the prior property owners against the Walmart because it wouldn't do anything for the town other than give them a lot of money and they'd walk away. So I've always had a concern about the tenants that go in there and the housing and the mix and everything else.
Right.
You look at old plans and it could be fantastic.
It really
And then you
could.
start to look at reality and, Smoothie King, Burger King,
It really could become a destination within the town, and I'm on the Historic Preservation Commission, and I can, argue for the rest of my life about the character of old buildings and how it does draw people in. People do want to live in them or near them, and
And you can't rebuild them once they come down because it wouldn't
No,
be
you
cost
can't.
prohibitive and nobody would do it. That's what I say. There's a lot of value and reason to preserve that before it gets destroyed. So I appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I do hope that we as a town lean in on this and help out and try to keep that project on the right track.
Thank you. Yeah, I know, I think Mike Welty's on. I don't know if he has anything to say to follow up to what I said, but I'm
Yeah.
happy to answer questions too. if you-
Yeah, also, I think you need to bring to the board's attention too about the tower on the north wing, that we could push them a little bit because they have a,
I don't have a picture of the north tower in this one,
yeah,
but,
because they're saying it's unstable, but
Yes.
it's a concrete building.
so the northernmost tower, which was the I believe, the last piece of the main building to be built, because it was supposed to be symmetrical, and then the funds dried up, and this was the last piece. It is a solid structure, concrete floors, brick vaulted arches. Was used as bathrooms, right? So it's stacked bathrooms. The State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, did say that this, they pointed out of all the buildings on the site, the 6 buildings that are getting saved or are in the development master plan to be saved. There has been much discussion since Saber's involvement that the North Tower has no place. And even more recently, that the North Tower, an engineering study has been done, and it's not sound. And once they remove it from the north wing, it won't be sound. I've urged the town planning department to please request a copy of the report. Right now, the report is literally a letter. And also if it need be, to get a third-party engineering review done, so that way, we know for sure. But I've always thought it would be a really cool lookout tower, because the view is amazing up there, and that could also then serve a purpose as a memorial. But the trick is getting stairs, because it would be, it's not set for internal stairs. It'd have to be external and added on or something.
There's an added feature up there. It'd be a great feature.
It'd be very cool.
What's left up there now to see from the road is phenomenal, and, I'm bringing this to our attention, the fact that Bruce did stop it, but to get up there and hire somebody to keep a better eye, to stop it is one thing, but to keep an eye on them, because it seems like what they're doing is definitely not right. And
Right.
I agree with Stefan, has said all along that, this was supposed to be a 100% walkable community. It's turned into basically a smaller mall off of a strip
very
mall.
tight
It's,
mall.
don't get me wrong, you can walk in it, but it's not what we thought it was gonna be to the
Right.
point. And
Yeah.
we have to make sure the rest of it on the hill gets done correctly.
Right.
And done right, and to bring somebody in to evaluate some of those things, and then bring them in
Right.
also at the same time.
And I know that the future of the North Campus isn't set in stone right now,
No.
because they've not presented anything, as far as I know, to the planning board. So we do have, I'm gonna keep fighting until the last possible second, as far as trying to envision a better future for the site. And if they, right now, it's looking as though it's just gonna be like a row of new construction going up Hudson View Drive, and then there'll be the admin, and then more construction. So if you can envision that, it's not so great.
Here would be my suggestion. There was a developer at one point who had a firm, Looney Ricks and Kiss. Looney Ricks and, all right. Anyway, I think it's Looney Ricks and Kiss, or Kicks, out of Princeton, New Jersey. Jim Constantine was the planner. They had a phenomenal plan for that property that integrated the great lawn, the historic buildings. It had really good flow. It made like a little village Main Street up top. I would suggest maybe we reach out to Jim Constantine and see if their firm could get involved as the on the town side of this to kind of guide the process, maybe a little bit better and tighter. But the plans that were drawn up years ago were fantastic.
Yeah.
And it utilized everything and reused things. And I think their expertise is right on point.
I know that they're not able to reuse everything. I get that.
Right, but it was he presented on behalf of the developer, and the project he presented, I don't know if anybody else remembers it, was really,
I
really
remember
good.
the name.
Yeah, but he's still there. I just looked him up quick. He's still there.
I think if
And-
there were a developer who was interested, Marty would be happy to sell off the parcel. So,
Well, here's
so
the-
if you know somebody,
Well, Looney Ricks and Kiss would be, when you're asking for a consultant on the town side,
okay.
that's what I would suggest. Not them
Okay.
representing developer, but that would be the consultant on the town side.
yeah.
And it's Looney Ricks and Kiss. They're out of Princeton, New Jersey. Jim Constantine was the guy. He was here presenting, and the plan was phenomenal. So to me, that might be the route to go, because you have somebody with the expertise and also has a working knowledge of that property already, because they
Right.
did a whole plan and proposal previously for it.
I'll have to see if I
Yeah.
can find that copy.
Yeah, because there still is a huge opportunity behind admin. There was a
Right.
village there. I
Right.
mean, it was a
But that-
villagers
It's
with.
still kind of
carpet-
intact.
Yeah,
That's-
Carpenter, the
that's-
ice house, and
right, but
the
that's-
morgue, and the
But that's what,
Firehouse.
shipping, and that could be turned into a little artisan village and keep what's there. And I mean,
that's
it's
what
a
that plan had.
huge opportunity,
So-
but it
I would
takes
love that.
imagination.
It
Let's
does,
see
it
if we could
does.
reach out and make that happen.
No, reach out and definitely make sure we get somebody up there to keep a better eye on what's going
Yeah.
on up
Okay,
there.
thank
Thank
you.
you for your
And
presentation.
I appreciate your time. I, again, appreciate Mike Welty and the planning department. I don't know if I've met Tim Sickles yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting him. And, you know, hopefully whoever takes over will have a good relationship. And I'm happy to walk around the site with any of you guys to point out cool stuff, so.
No, Yvonne,
Okay,
thanks for
thank
bringing this
you.
to our
Thank
attention.
you. Thank you.
Board up.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Doreen?
Thanks, Jake. So this is just infuriating to hear something like this because this is no different. I mean, this stuff has been going on for years in the town. I see it all the time with environmental issues. And the reason that it happens is because they know they can get away with it and they keep doing it. And so it's nothing new but it's still infuriating. And there's a tree, there's a beech tree there that they said they were going to be saving. Well, I've been documenting what that tree looks like over the past couple of years. And yeah, they fenced it around the drip line, but it's barely to the end of the drip line. And then they always have huge construction vehicles parked right there, like at the end. So, you know, the tree may not die immediately, but it's going to die eventually. And like I said, I've been documenting what it looks like and it's not looking good. So, you know, you have these haphazard, half-hearted, basically attempts to just appease people. And if there's no consequences, they just keep doing it. And if anybody from the town knew this was going on and they've been allowed to continue, it's just wrong. It really is.
No, I think, Doreen, along the line of what you're saying, and Yvonne brought it up, is that, you know, when they're alerted that something happened, you know, Bruce did go up and they did stop work. That doesn't solve the problem. We need to keep a closer eye on it and a closer day that we know what's going on a day-to-day basis up there to make sure they're not getting away with something, to let them make sure they understand that, you know, we're up there to keep an eye on things. And I don't think it's a building inspector because Bruce was doing his job as going up as inspector. We definitely need a consultant of some sort that's gonna keep an eye on what's going up there when they get to the top of the hill.
And you know, the fines and okay, so it says 6 months in prison and people laugh, they say, oh, you know, you're not gonna put anybody in prison. Well, you know, that's probably what they think. And $1,000, I mean, that's another joke. So, and again, I've seen this, I've seen it in environmental issues when it comes to wetland protection in the town. They just take and take and take because they know they can get away with it and there's no consequences. All right, that's it.
Thanks, Doreen. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on any item at all? This is your time. Mr. Solomon, go ahead.
Thanks for making some time to hear me. My name is Nate Solomon, and I spoke a little bit already with Mrs. Salvatore, I think it was, and sent Jay a little email. But essentially my situation is I'm a licensed plumber in the town of Poughkeepsie. Been there probably about 12, 15 years. I recently moved down to North Carolina, and essentially recently, just as of last week, my license was revoked by the plumbing board of Poughkeepsie. So basically what happened was I recently merged with another company in order to take on the project, the Vassar faculty project. We're the plumbing contractor on that job. And I didn't notify the town that I had changed from my company, Solomon Plumbing, to the new company. Essentially, everything happened very quickly, all towards the beginning of the project. sorry if I'm giving you too many details, but essentially what happened was the plumbing board or the building department, I think it was Bruce, stopped by. He knows my guys, Solomon Plumbing guys, and he saw some other contractors working there. I think what happened was he asked them, hey, what company are you? Are you Solomon, whatever. The guys in the field didn't know anything, so it was assumed that I was covering for another company. So, I got in touch with the building department right away. I was like, hey, listen, I'll get you my paperwork. So essentially what happened was Bruce called me last, I think it was 2 Tuesdays ago, and said, hey, Nate, the plumbing board wants to meet with you about this thing, with Vassar. Can you come here next Tuesday? So I recently, sorry, I should have started off with that. I recently moved down to North Carolina about 4 years ago, but I still run my business from here, North Carolina. So I said, Bruce, I can't make it there, on such short notice, but, I'm willing to Zoom in, I'll phone call, whatever. Hey, no problem, because I just want to make sure everything is clear. And he said, well, Nate, I'm not sure about that, if that'll work. Today's my last day. I'll have somebody from the office follow up with you, just, what you can do about it. Said, fine, no problem. I never heard anything from the building department or anybody. I just heard a week later, which would have been Wednesday of last week, from a contractor from Baxter Construction. They called me up and they were like, hey, we just got notification that your license was revoked. And so I was just like, okay. So I immediately called Tim Sickles, let him know that, hey, look, I was waiting to hear from you guys what I could do. I was willing to show up and, straighten out the situation, but I never got the opportunity to do so. Tim was like, hey, I understand, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not a member of the plumbing board. I'm just a liaison. You got to talk to the plumbing board itself. So I got Steve's number, Steve Eckelman. I called him up. He was very, we had a good conversation. I was just like, hey, look, this is a situation that, I would have never blown off that meeting. I was willing to show up, but I just never got the opportunity to let you guys know what was going on. He said, I can't do anything myself. The board voted. He said, we'll get back in touch with you. He said, we don't have a meeting planned for November, but we'll try and either for the 1st or the 15th to be able to get back together and, and discuss it. I was like, sure. I was like, hey, look, if there's any way you could hold a special meeting or do something before then, because that's, almost a month from now, that'd be fantastic. Let me know. So he said, I would let you know by the end of the week. So I texted him on Thursday of last week, just to be like, hey, look, have you heard anything? He said, well, at the earliest, we'll meet the 1st or the 15th of November. So I said, again, I was like, hey, if there's anything you do to meet earlier, because, like every contractor I'm working for, every job in the town was, stop work. So I never heard back from him. I never got like a notice from the town or from the plumbing board as far as, being able to get together and discuss this. So I called Tim Sickles, and was just like, hey, look, this situation, I'm kind of stuck. I haven't done anything wrong. What can I do? So he said, well, you can appeal to the board. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just hoping to get some type of resolution. I do recognize that the fault was definitely mine of not getting my paperwork in. But I do feel like I should have been given some type of opportunity to be there at the hearing and just, let them know what was going on. So that's why I kind of feel like this situation isn't right. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's what I got.
Mr. Solomon, how many full-time employees do you have?
I have 3.
3? Here in the town of Poughkeepsie?
Yeah. So, yeah. So in
Is
the
that
town of
counting
Poughkeepsie,
yourself or not counting yourself?
that is not counting myself.
Okay, are any of them a licensed plumber?
My employees, no.
So you're the licensed plumber. How frequently are you in Poughkeepsie to oversee the work they're doing and, make sure they're doing it correctly?
Yeah, I mean, I come up, it varies, but I'm usually up about once a month, every 6 weeks, depending on which jobs we have.
Have you been on that job at, where is it, Vassar College or Vassar Hospital?
Vassar College.
No, it's
Have you
Vassar
been on that
College.
job, on site?
I did. Yeah, I came by when we started the underslab on the job.
When was the last time you were there?
Beginning of September, when we first started. that's as far as we've got at this point. We've just done underslab so far. They're doing the rest of the building right now.
So I'm not sure what the definition of covering is, but the plumbing board had basically said they're taking your license because you were covering. Is that what he said?
Yeah, in the letter, I just received the letter from them yesterday or the day before in the mail. And I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but I think the terminology they used was that I was subcontracting the work. But essentially, like, that's what they call it cover. So in other words, like, if you have another company that's not licensed, hey, I'll pull the permits for you. You can do the work. You know
Is
what I'm saying?
is this other company that's working with you, are they licensed in the town of Poughkeepsie?
No. So
Okay. And are you supervising their employees?
Yeah, so that's what I was brought on. That's why we merged, because, like I said, I have three guys, but the opportunity to do this job was more than I could handle.
Are you directly supervising their employees?
Like on site?
Yeah.
No, I do not. We have a job site.
So I'm not on the plumb board.
Sure.
My question.
Sure.
How is what's happening there differentiated from what's called covering?
Because I no longer have Solomon Plumbing as my company. I am now that company. ACT is the new company. So
Right,
that's what.
But even if it was another name, you're still not here and they're not licensed plumbers doing the work. So they're doing work you have to come up and inspect, but you're not here to inspect it. So how does that work?
All right. How is that not just how you're saying that they said it's covering? Why isn't it?
Because if I was covering, then it would be a different company. So in other words, it's the same company.
Yeah, technically, it's not covering. The concern was that you're not there to supervise the individuals who are doing the plumbing. And it doesn't sound like you're visiting frequently enough to adequately look at what they're doing and inspect it on a more regular basis than once every 4 to 6 weeks.
Right, but I don't see how, I mean, like, there's plenty of companies where you have the licensed plumber who's, I don't know, let's say he's like 7 years old and he's not necessarily the guy who's out in the field doing it. I mean, it'd be one thing like if I was just like, hey, look, just use my license for whatever. But if I'm an active part of the company and I'm there, pulling permits, I'm part of the work there.
But you're there. You just said you're not there. Didn't you? You said you're not there.
You let it lax, and North Carolina is a very short flight away. To come up to something is that important and a job this big, I would have done everything possible to get here to meet with the plumbing board. So I don't understand how you couldn't get here. Unless you had a family emergency or something, that would have been my priority.
And I don't know exactly, but I always thought covering was basically when you're sort of like, I was trying to think of a better word, basically lending out your license for monetary gain and you're not really doing the work. So by merging with a company, I don't know that it cleanses you from that process if you're not really involved. It sounds like from what you're saying, you're not really involved at all. You're in North Carolina, have been for 4 years, and this project in particular seems to have caught the attention of the plumbing board, but it almost seems like there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's going on where you're not involved. And I always thought the reason for a plumbing license was to have a plumber that has a proper experience involved in the work.
Yeah. And look, I have I don't know, it's not several right now, but I have multiple jobs going on. And you can talk to them, I mean, the building department. I come up plenty enough, I inspect the work. I mean, it's not like I'm down here in North Carolina and don't do anything. So I mean, I'm actively involved on the job sites. Now, like, for example, there's different phases to the work. So I may not be there every day, but before it gets inspected, as it's coming along, I'm there on the job sites. I mean, that's...
Sir, with all due respect, we typically don't have any authority over any other boards. That's why we're separate from other boards, zoning, planning, and the plumbing board. And they're all licensed plumbers that sit on that board, so I have to defer this to them. So what are you looking for us to do tonight?
My main issue was just the fact that I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I should have been given the opportunity to be there and just clarify this issue. But I think the assumption was made that I didn't care and I was just a no-show. And
But if they told you when it was and where it was and gave you the opportunity to be there, but you then weren't able to show up, I don't think you can take the leap and say that they presumed that you weren't there, so didn't care. I think it appears that they had a process, invited you to the process, and you didn't show for whatever reason. So it doesn't seem like they unilaterally made a decision and just left you in the dark, and you all of a sudden found out, like, geez, they took my license from me and it never even gave me the opportunity to speak. It seems like
that was, sorry, good.
from what you're saying, it seems like you were told about the meeting and when it was and didn't indicate to them that you wouldn't be there, and they had the meeting, right?
Now, I understand an employee of the town said he'd get back to you, and he no longer works with us, so my point is, what I think you should do is contact them and ask for a grace period until you can get up here at their next meeting. That's something I think might be a viable option for you, and you should, it really has to come from the plumbing board, though.
When was the last time you spoke to the plumbing board?
I spoke, hang on, let me look at my, so I spoke with Steve Eckelman. Let's see, that would have been, I'm sorry, let me just look through here real quick. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Have you reached out to any other members of the plumbing board to get their opinion on this situation?
I haven't. I don't particularly know who they are. When I spoke with Tim, he just said, Steve is the president, so so speak with him. But yeah, that's. I spoke with him. I think it was it was 2 Tuesdays. So Wednesday of last week was when I heard about it. So I called Steve right then and there. He said he would get back to me by the end of the week. I never heard, so I texted him on Friday of last week. That was the last communication that I actually had with the board.
And has the plumbing board had any discussion since you sit on the plumbing board since this?
No, I think the only thing I've seen is there's been emails to set up a meeting in November, because we weren't going to meet in November because the second Tuesday is election day in the town hall. So they're looking at setting up another day. And I'll make sure that you're aware of when this is and can attend. And we don't typically do Zoom, but I imagine we could set it up if need be.
Well, but maybe he'll be here because he comes in and starts his job.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be there in person. I mean, this is obviously important to me. And that's what I had said to Bruce on the phone was, I said, hey, I'm willing to come on, Zoom or, phone call, whatever. Obviously I would do that. And he said, well, like I said, he said it was the last day, somebody will get back to you. So if they said, hey, look, Nate, we're not gonna be able to do it, you gotta be here, I would hop in my car, I would have driven there, I would have been there. But I thought, there would be a provision where I could just call in and let them know what's going on. So, I mean,
Did you call anybody to let them know that you weren't going to be there?
No, when I spoke with Bruce, he said that the office was going to be in touch with me. Somebody from the office was going to call.
But were you aware of the date of the plumbing board's meeting?
I was not. I'm sorry, yes. He said it would be on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I was just kind of waiting to hear, hey, look, this is what's going to happen. So, I mean, I've never been to a plumbing board meeting. I'm not familiar with how it all works. So I was waiting just to hear back.
I mean, I've been to a plumbing board meeting before, and here's my thing is we have rules, and for the most part, they make sense, and we all should follow them. It seems like they have serious concerns about whether or not you've been following the rules, and if I have a project at my house that requires a plumber, I have to get a licensed plumber. I don't get the option to get somebody that's not, and there are costs involved with that. And when you have someone who's not a licensed plumber and the person who's licensed and pulling the permit is not local and not involved, I think it's problematic and it circumvents the rules. And again, if we have the rules in the book, we should all follow them. I don't think they're complicated. And it seems like the plumbing board gave you the opportunity to be involved and you didn't show up or tell them anything otherwise. I don't think the process was unfair, and I don't think any of the people on that plumbing board are unreasonable. So I think Councilman Sphone had sort of said it before, but I would kind of defer to where they're at this point. And I'm not sure the town board should be leaning in other than if we're the actual, unless it's that we would hear any appeal from the plumbing board?
That's what it says in the code, and that's
Right.
why Tim sent it
And,
to me.
and if so, I don't know that this should have been a topic of discussion at a current board meeting if we're gonna be the final arbiter.
We should have met with the plumbing board as well. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Solomon, you hear that meeting?
I couldn't hear the last little part, I'm sorry.
The next plumbing board meetings will be November 1st at 10 a.m. at the town hall, right here in this building, 1
Yeah.
Overocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York,
Yeah, we meet in this room.
in the town hall meeting room, the room you're seeing right now on TV.
Okay. Now. you
Mr.
mentioned
Solomon.
before- Oh, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
At this
Yeah.
point, you should be reaching out to Mr. Engelland and make sure the date and time is correct and everything, so there's no thing, the ball is in your court to make that phone call. Nobody from town hall will be calling you. You have Steve's phone number. Reach out to Steve to make sure everything's set in place for you to go to that meeting. So there's no confusion who was supposed to call who. So reach out to Steve if you need a contact number, a better contact number. If you can't get a hold of him, reach out to my office. I'll make sure he gets back to you. But the ball should be in your court at this point, and you should be reaching out to him to see what the next step is.
And in the interim, I think you mentioned that you have a whole bunch of jobs around town. There shouldn't be anything going on those right now if you don't have a plumbing license.
Well,
in
yeah,
Poughkeepsie.
that's kind of why I'm, and I guess there was somebody mentioned it before, I'm not sure who, but is there a possibility, I'm just looking for some way to be able to, do my work. Is there a possibility of having, a way to continue just until they meet again? When I have the opportunity to be there, is that a possibility at all?
That would be something you have to talk to the chairman of the plumbing board about.
Okay,
All right?
okay.
Thank you.
All right, good luck, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Make a motion, resume the rules?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Engelland.
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie is hereby adjourned to executive session to consider the following: discussion regarding proposed pending or current litigation, LG 52 versus town, to discuss matters which are exempt under the open meeting law, including matters subject to attorney-client privilege, and be it further resolved that no action appropriating money will be taken. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town board goes in executive session, 8:28 PM.